On this week's episode of the Rambler Sports Locker, the men's volleyball team opened up MIVA play, and RSL reporter Hayley Spitler recites her love letter to Chicago sports.
Also, men's basketball pushes forward in the Missouri Valley Conference, and RSL reporter Mary Plankey ranks the top 5 couples of the Chicago Cubs in honor of Valentine's Day.
Welcome back to this week's special Valentine's Day edition of the Rambler Sports Locker. I'm Michael Faso, sporting my very manly salmon shirt.
And I'm Analise Ockenfels, also dressed for the occasion. Now, while you might not be in a romantic relationship this February 14th, none of you are alone because we are all in a supportive relationship with the men's basketball team. Men's basketball competed against the Valparaiso Crusaders on February 10th in an effort to stay on top of the Valley Conference standings. After being behind for most of the first half, redshirt senior guard Clayton Custer made a buzzer-beating three-pointer to bring the Ramblers within 2 entering the half with a score of 24-22. Following halftime, the Valparaiso Crusaders took the lead with 5 unanswered points. However, freshman center Franklin Agunane got Loyola's offense going with a dunk that resulted in a 13-point run for Loyola and was topped off by redshirt senior guard Marcus Towns' three-pointer. The Ramblers beat the Crusaders 56-51. Towns and sophomore center Cameron Krutwig both reached double digits by the end of the game with 18 points and 12 points respectively. Krutwig also had to play with a protective face mask on throughout the entire game after his injury during the Drake game on February 5th. The Ramblers traveled to Peoria, Illinois to take on Bradley February 13th. The Ramblers fell to the Braves 61-54. Loyola held a 26-22 lead at halftime, but Bradley took control thanks to a 16 5-second half run to take control. It was a rough night for redshirt senior guard Clayton Custer. The reigning MVC player of the year finished with only 6 points and made 1 shot from the field. Redshirt senior guard Marcus Towns shouldered the offensive load for Loyola with a team-high 15 points. Loyola now sits at 16-10 on the season and will return to Gentile to play Missouri State February 17th.
The women's basketball team faced off against Northern Iowa on Friday, February 8th at Gentile Arena. The Ramblers and the Panthers had a close game going in the first quarter. Solid performances by sophomore Abby O'Connor and freshman Janae Gonzalez helped put Loyola and UNI in a 20-20 race at the end of the first quarter. However, UNI began to pull away in the second quarter and then dominated the third. Loyola mounted a late rally, but it was too little too late as the Ramblers fell with the final score of 71-65. Gonzalez led the Ramblers with 20 points. O'Connor finished with 15 points and 11 rebounds in the losing effort. The Ramblers were back at it again in Gentile Arena Sunday, February 10th to face off against Drake University. The Bulldogs jumped on the Ramblers from the start. The road team took over the first quarter and finished with a 27-13 lead. Loyola only scored 6 points in the third quarter as Drake continued to dominate. The Ramblers were unable to come back and were defeated 83-55 despite a high point 18 points from Gonzalez. This now puts Loyola at 10-12 and overall and 4-7 in the Missouri Valley Conference play. The Ramblers will next face off against the Sycamores at Indiana State University Friday, February 15th. In honor of Valentine's Day, we found it only fitting to play one of our favorite packages from last spring to look at which men's basketball players Rambler fans are most fond of.
Keep your eye out for some of our players who have since graduated and gone on to play professionally as well.
I think that Ben Richardson is the cutest player. I'm definitely an eyes person, and he has really pretty eyes, really kind eyes, and he really puts his all into the game.
My opinion, my favorite basketball player is a merge of Clay and Ben, which I would like to call Peyton, because they're America's sweetheart and they're the best group of best friends in this country, and their love story will live on forever.
I think Dante Ingram is the cutest. He's in one of my classes and seems super nice, which is really a good quality.
I think Clayton Custer is the cutest. He has a good smile, pretty eyes, and he seems like he has a good personality from his interviews.
Marcus Towns, just his eyes just have a weight in my heart. I just like when I look at them, they're just like, it's like an ocean on a sunrise.
I find Ben Richardson the cutest just because he's cute and good at basketball.
Loyola softball started their season at the Total Control Sports Invitational in Rosemont, Illinois, February 8th through the 10th. The Ramblers played 5 games, ultimately winning the tournament. On the first day of the tournament, the Ramblers beat University of Missouri, Kansas City 1-0, and then took care of Detroit Mercy 3-1. On day 2 of the tournament, freshman Madison Ebeling hit an inside the park home run in the first inning against Purdue Fort Wayne. The 1-run shot was the first hit of Ebeling's career and helped secure a 2-0 win. The Ramblers then beat Butler 5-4 in Saturday night's nighttime start. Sophomore Katie Pulaski won the game in dramatic fashion with a walk-off double in the 7th inning. On day 3, the Ramblers beat IUPUI's Jaguars 6-0 in the championship game. The Ramblers got a 2-0 lead in the bottom of the 3rd thanks to RBI hits from junior Jessica Shields and sophomore Allison Ivy. Loyola built on their foundation the next inning by adding 4 runs. Senior pitcher Keenan Dolezal entered the game in the 5th and earned a save to hold the lead against IUPUI. The 5-game tournament sweep gives the Ramblers an undefeated start. Freshman catcher Abby Jacobson earned MVC Player of the Week honors for her performance at the tournament. She batted 7 for 13 from the plate. You can catch the Ramblers next at the Runnin' Bulldog softball tournament from February 15th to the 17th.
The men's volleyball team opened up MIVA play by defeating Quincy University 3-0. Loyola started out with a close lead in the first set of the game. Freshman Lucas Denton's kill put the Ramblers up 11-6. The Ramblers were able to continue their lead and close out the set with a 25-14 win. Quincy was able to get a 1-point lead in the second set, but the Ramblers quickly came back, and seniors Colin Mahan and Will Tischler each got kills to put Loyola up 16-11, eventually closing out the set 25-20. The third set was the same story, with Tischler, Denton, Mahan, and senior Paul Narup all getting kills, resulting in Loyola winning the set and shutting out the match 3-0. On Saturday, February 9th, the Ramblers were back on the road to face off against the Lindenwood University Lions. The Lions got an early lead on the Ramblers in the first set with a score of 16-8. Mahan tightened the gap with back-to-back kills to bring the score within 4, but the Lions were able to close the set with a 25-22 win. Lindenwood started strong in the second set with a 16-12 lead, but Loyola was able to come back thanks to offense Mahan and Tischler and an ace from Denton. The Ramblers won the set 25-22. The third set was a lot back and forth between Loyola and Lindenwood, with the set tied at 22. Tischler had 2 kills that brought the Ramblers to set point, which Mahan took home to win the set 25-23. Loyola was able to close out the game with kills from Tischler and senior Paul Narup in the fourth set and finished with the final score of 25-16 and match win of 3-1. Sophomore Garrick Zolg was awarded MIVA Offensive Player of the Week for his contributions in the victories. Zolg recorded 90 assists in 2 games. Zolg was the 4th straight Rambler to win a MIVA Weekly Award. Loyola will continue its MIVA run this weekend when they're back at Gentile Arena to face off against Purdue Fort Wayne on Friday, February 15th.
This past Tuesday, Cubs pitchers and catchers reported to spring training in Arizona, which means we're getting even closer to our favorite players and their significant others returning to Wrigley Field.
Continuing with the theme of love, RSL reporter Mary Plankey ranks the top 5 Cubs couples in this week's Top 5.
In anticipation of baseball season being right around the corner and Valentine's Day, I've ranked the best Chicago Cubs couples for this week's Top 5. Coming in 5th is left fielder Kyle Schwarber. The Ohio native proposed to his longtime girlfriend and reported high school sweetheart Paige over the Christmas holiday. While no major plans have been announced as of yet, I'm sure that their wedding will be a grand slam. 4th on the list is Anthony Rizzo. The first baseman wed his longtime girlfriend, Emily, on December 29th of 2018. Anthony met Emily in 2016 during spring training while she was in her last year at Arizona State and interning for the Cubs nutrition team. It was not an immediate walk-off, however, as Emily initially gave Riz a fake phone number. Nevertheless, he persisted, and now the Golden Glover has found himself quite the catch. 3rd place goes to the third baseman. Chris Bryant and his wife Jessica tied the knot on January 7th of 2017. That's 1-7, 17, an anniversary number 17 won't be forgetting anytime soon. Bryant and his longtime love have been together since they were both sophomores in high school. Chris was the National League MVP in 2016, but I'm sure Jessica is his MVP every day. Running in his second is Cole Hamels. The pitcher and his wife Heidi have been married since 2006 and share 4 children together, including an adopted daughter from Africa. The couple met when Heidi threw out the first pitch at a game while Cole was playing in the minor league. While he has yet to throw a perfect game, he certainly has found his perfect match in Heidi. And finally, sliding into first place is second baseman Ben Zobrist. Ben and his wife, singer-songwriter Juliana Zobrist, have been married since 2005 and share 3 children together. From the Tampa Bay Rays to the Kansas City Royals and now with the Chicago Cubs, when it comes to his walk-up song, it seems that Zarilla's top pick is always his wife's music. The Cubs spring training game starts Saturday, February 23rd, and will kick off the 2019 official season on March 28th, playing the Texas Rangers. That's all for this week's Valentine's Day themed Top 5. I'm Mary Plankey. Back to you at the desk.
This past week, men's golf opened their spring season in the Earl Yestingsmeyer match play in Dade City, Florida. Loyola tied with Eastern Michigan with 3.0. Senior Orion Yamach, junior Justin LaFrance, and sophomore Devin Johnson all scored for the Ramblers. However, they lost the tiebreaker. The Ramblers then played a consolation match against Ohio University, but lost 4.0 to 2.0. On the second day of the tournament play, Loyola lost to Drake with a 3.5 to 2.5 decision. They ended up finishing in 8th place out of the 8 teams to compete. The Ramblers can next be seen in North Myrtle Beach in South Carolina at the Bash of the Beach from March 11th to the 12th.
In track and field news, the men and women's team competed in the GVSU Big Meet in Allendale, Michigan on Friday, February 8th. Redshirt senior Lindsey Brewis continued her impressive season by placing runner-up in the 5,000-meter run with a time of 16 minutes and 18.40 seconds, while sophomore Mimi Reimers placed 9th. At the Iowa State Classic in Ames, Iowa, junior Eric Burns had 4 attempts in the long jump and pulled off a victory with a 7.20-meter leap. This was his 4th time finishing in first place this season. The following day, senior Natasha Simmons placed 3rd in the 60-meter dash with a time of 7.72 seconds and picked up another 3rd place finish in the 200-meter dash at the GVSU Big Meet. On the men's side, junior Riley DeMillionaire took home first place in the 3,000-meter run. Back in Iowa, senior Elijah Olige placed 6th in the 400-meter dash with his season best time of 49 seconds, and freshman Jana Rokita placed 3rd in the triple jump. The Ramblers wrap up their indoor season Saturday, February 16th at the Alex Wilson Invitational in South Bend, Indiana.
One thing that's amazing about going to school in Chicago is all the incredible professional sports teams we have.
That's something RSL reporter Hayley Spitler doesn't take for granted, as she's here today with some special words for her teams. Hayley?
Thanks, Michael. Since we are all about the feelings here at RSL today, I decided to write love letters to all of my favorite Chicago sports teams. Starting off with the Chicago Bears. I love you. I love everything you've done for me this past year, from winning the NFC North Division to making the playoffs for the first time in 8 years. We've grown so much together. I mean, none of us expected the season would go the way it did. You brought this city together and exceeded all of our expectations. I can't wait to see where we'll go and what we'll be together in the next year. And now that Cody Parkey is gone, hopefully that will be Super Bowl champions. With all my heart, Hayley. Dear Blackhawks, I love how you like to play games with me. Firing Joel Quenneville after the season had already started, hiring, dare I say, the cutest coach in the NHL, Jeremy Colleton, having a record of 17 wins and 24 losses, and then winning 6 straight games. 6? Now you guys are 23 and 25 and only 4 points out of the wild card spot. When all hopes were lost, you surprised me. And now we have a chance at the playoffs. Keep playing games. I like it. Sincerely yours, Hayley. Dear White Sox, I'm going to be honest, I don't have a lot to say. You're on the south side, I'm a fan of the north, you wear black and white, and I'm all about that blue and white. I mean, I guess, thanks for the fireworks? Oh wait, I know. Thanks for Michael Kopech. Not because he's a pitcher who probably has an incredible future ahead of him for himself, but because of his girlfriend, Vanessa Morgan. She's on Riverdale, and I love KJ Appa. Yeah, that will do. Love, not a fan, Hayley. Dear Chicago Cubs, my Cubbies, where do I start? Chris, Ben, Anthony, Javi, I love you more than life itself. Is there a better looking team in professional sports? But it doesn't even end there. The way you play on and off the field makes my heart soar. You gave me a World Series title in 2016 in an exhilarating fashion. I mean, Cleveland thought they had it, and then you ripped it right from them. I'm here for it. You play at Wrigley Field, arguably the best field in the world, which makes sense because you're my world. I miss you. And I can't wait to be reunited with you in only a few short weeks for spring training. Always and forever, Hayley Spitler. And dear Chicago Bulls, we're broken up. That's it for my love letters. For the Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Hayley Spitler. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Haley. The Bills will always have my heart. How about you, Analise?
I have to say the Cubs will always have mine.
We hope you had an excellent Valentine's Day and felt love from all those around you.
For our full episodes and the chance to get in on the conversation, follow and like our social media handles for an up-to-date look at all things Rambler Sports.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Michael Faso.
And I'm Analise Ockenfels. Check back next week for another episode of the Rambler Sports Locker.
And as always, don't forget to turn out the lights.